Hi, Dave Snyder here. It is Friday the 13th. Lucky day today. Okay, so yesterday's episode of whatever you want to call it, Moon Truth, something like that, right? Okay, so yesterday's episode, I showed you this image over the Mare Oriental Basin reversed over the Earth, right? And what I want to point out here that I didn't point out in that video is this is in the Pacific. You see the western United States right there. North America's right here, right? So this is a weather pattern that was right up there, right here, in this spot right here. Okay, in the northern hemisphere, right? This is in the southern hemisphere. So we have this pattern from the northern hemisphere, brought it down to the southern hemisphere, and it fits absolutely perfect. It shows that those areas were likely in the same location at one point in time. Maybe not at the same time, but they definitely were shaped in the same location by the same thing. Anyways, another thing that I noticed after I made the video as I was going through my list here and bringing up other pictures, right, that go in this area, because I've been building. If you've been watching my videos, I've been building things here right next to New Zealand, in between New Zealand and Australia, basically, because you see the ocean floor there. We look at the ocean floor, and we see that subduction, really, and you see how that pattern fits there. In case you didn't see last night's video, that I lined this picture of this weather to the moon crater, and then it pulled the moon crater away, and this is just how it fit all on its own. So anyways, that just shows I have the moon crater in the right place, that is flipped over on the Earth, and the size is incredibly large. But you see that picture here. I'll show it to you in case you haven't seen my videos before. I'm sure that a lot of people may not have. This is a picture of the Mare Oriental Basin on the moon, and it's flipped over and overlaid over the Earth in a spot where I aligned it a couple months ago, and I've been building off this ever since. Well, you see the weather. I lined that weather pattern inside this crater, only to this crater right here. That's all I aligned it to, because I've been doing this for like 4.5 years, almost 5, going on 5 years, and I know the little areas where the weather shows things, that I know where they have to be when I align them to the moon crater. Like, there has to be something for this crater here. When I align this weather to it, there has to be something for that. So I put that there, basically, and I can see this here, this area here. There has to be something there that has that little shape, and that always stands out, because you can see it's a high area of the moon or something, like, so it's going to leave that spot. So when I pulled this other picture away and it aligned to the ocean floor that way, that shows that this crater on the moon has to be this big. I mean, how could you get around that? I don't see how you could get around it. If I aligned it to this crater is bigger than the moon. Okay, bigger than they say the moon is. Look, if I measure just from this ring to this ring, we get 3,600 miles. The moon's only supposed to be 2,100 miles. How does this happen? Now, I aligned the weather to that picture, right? I aligned the weather to this picture only. Pulled this picture, the moon crater, out of the picture, period. Just pulled it away, took it out, removed it. And that's how that image fit the Earth when I pulled that moon picture away. I'd say a perfect alignment over the Earth, showing that crater on the moon has to be that size that I'm showing it here, that I aligned it to. I mean, it consistently shows it at that size all over the planet Earth every day, every single day. The weather on the Earth will fit somewhere on the weather on the Earth. Somewhere on the Earth will fit that crater every day. So anyways, another thing that I want to show, I pointed this all out last night in last night's video, but this is something that I found after I made the video, and this is a picture that I showed a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple weeks, of this weather pattern that's right here. You can see there's Africa, the Sahara right here, right, and this is Europe right here, right? Well, check out that weather pattern. We look for the number 7. It looks like a number 7 shape, and that's the common shape of the weather pattern that you'll see all around the planet. And now this is the Mediterranean, and look at it match that pattern. See the same straight line coming down the side in this 7 shape. Now we have this shape in the Mediterranean. We have it in the Pacific, the northern Pacific, right, west of North America, and we also have it in the southern hemisphere down by Australia. And I'm sure it's in other places. If I was to bring up more images, there would be some other one that it shares the same pattern. So, and you see like this area here, there's something there, just like there is something there. I mean, they changed the weather, so it's not showing it as good as it used to, but it shares the same pattern. Weather is not random. Not really. I mean, it's random when it's going to come up this way, but I mean, it's not. All the weather patterns are similar. They are shaped by the same thing. Oh, you know, thousands of years, millions of years ago, whenever it happened, I don't have no idea, but it shows the same thing. That all these areas were created or shaped by the same thing, which would be the moon. Because, I mean, watch, I'll bring that Mare Oriental crater up with this picture. I align this to the same thing. I just think it's really interesting. I mean, you see that. Now there has to be something for that crater, so that's right there. It's real close to it. See it right there? So there has to be something for that almost every time. And then you just basically, I probably didn't align it to Mare Oriental. I probably just aligned it to something else, but it's there. It fits in there just the same, pretty much. You see how that rises up right there, and you see how that does the same thing on the moon there. This part rises up kind of like that, and I could bring South America into the picture, which is what I think that aligned to at that day. Let's see, I can bring up a couple different South American ones that I got up here. I'll bring up the one I haven't brought up for a while. This one may not be so perfect anymore like it used to be, but yeah, it's probably a little off now. But yeah, I'll bring up another picture of South America. Yeah, I got a whole stack of images here that will all fit together of different areas of the Earth. But that pattern, I just really wanted to point that out. I'm not going to bring up anything else. That's just what I wanted to show that, basically. That is not the only area of the Earth where that pattern can be seen. It's all around the planet. Lunar South Pole too. Not just Mare Oriental. It's not the only thing you can align to. You can use the Lunar South Pole too. You could use Imbrium too. I mean, the area that faces the Earth today. So, I know that people have a hard time thinking that the Illuminati or whoever, is hiding this, suppressing this information, could get away with this long. They get away with everything forever. I'm telling you. I mean, look how. Trust me, they could get away with it. And you got to realize. The reason they did this and didn't tell people or share this information is due to the resources on the planet. There's no doubt about that. You could put the Earth together. I mean, like I pointed out before, Australia is definitely the land down under. I've pointed that out before. It's not because it's in the southern hemisphere. Not because it's the land. This would be the land down under. If that was the case, this is the land down under. Under this, it's the newest continent, so it's the land down under. It rose after all the other ones moved away so that it was allowed to rise. You know what I'm saying? It was under the other areas of the Earth first, and then probably uplifted after the other areas were built and moved away, the other continents, I should say. But anyways, what was I going to show you? I forget now. Damn it. I hate it when that happens. Oh well, anyways, that's the situation. The moon shapes the Earth. Still doing it today. God dang it, I wish I remember that. What it was. Here we go. Here's something I wanted to point out too. This is the earthquake day, the day of the earthquake in Chile the other day, the 6.9. And this is the weather that evening. This is after the earthquake. Now, this is really extreme weather for South America recently. I mean, I haven't seen anything like this over South America for a while now. I mean, I have before, but that day was pretty intense, the weather pattern there. And I aligned it over the same crater, Mare Oriental Basin. I just put it right up there, and it just lines right up every time like that. Let me show you. Maybe I'll remember the other thing I was going to do. See that? It just goes there. I mean, you see me do the other things with this crater, but then again, when I put this picture up here, actually the first time originally, this picture over the top of Mare Oriental, the program put it in a different place than this one. It put it right here like this. It laid it like this on its own, and I was like, whoa, that could be something. That's because you see the edge there. I mean, sometimes it puts it in place for you. You know, the program will do that. It's really strange that way, I think. But so I got it up there both ways. I got it like this, and I can see that too. I can see that fit there pretty good, like that. But anyways, the other one is the one that we already have seen before. And look at this day, the weather on this day. There's a big fault right there. You see where there's no clouds right there. There's definitely a fault behind this ridge of mountains right here. Right here, there's definitely a fault line there for sure. Right, and then you see this would be a fault line right here. This whole thing around here, if that's there in the ocean, that's a fault line for sure. But I think what's going on in South America is this is a hole in the center of the jungle there. The Amazon, that's a big, there's like a hole. You look at the elevation in the center of South America. You go over here and you go like this, and use your Google Earth, and you can actually get to zero in the center of this area here. And then as you move your cursor out, you can see the elevation increases. I mean, from the center out any direction, the elevation goes up from the center. So there's a hole. This was built by a big volcano that was right here. South America was there was a big volcano right here that built South America. This is a big hole that's, I think everything's sinking into. You know, everything around the edge is basically either sliding into that or going into the ocean, one of the two, but it's you know, it's something like that. There's definitely a hole in the center here. That's why this is the jungle, and it's so rich with you know, life, because it's you know, it was an eruption. That's what happens. Volcanic areas, after a long time, they become, you know, the soil and everything becomes really rich and full of nutrients and everything like that, and it becomes very, you know, healthy. But that's a hole. It's just like the Congo, same thing, built by the same exact volcano, same thing I pointed out. And this is part of it. Lake Victoria is part of it, but there's definitely one big hole that creates this area here and this area here, you know, from the same place, same hotspot. And we know North America is the same thing. I lined that all three together the other day. So that's my video for the day. Thank you for watching. Look into it. I mean, I got another, you know, person laughing at my biggest secret in gold mining video today. If you don't think that this would help the people find gold and all the stuff on the earth by putting these things together this way, I don't know where you went to school, but I mean, it definitely, you know, I guess they don't teach common sense in school, really, actually. So, you know, I don't know where I got it from, but it points to that every time. This is a big hole, or, you know, was a big hole, and the outside is the side of the volcano. Basically, the Andes and everything else around the outside of it would be the, you know, the big edge, the edge of the big volcano, huge volcano. That's thousands of miles across. So anyways, have a great day. Thank you again for watching, and that's it. Believe what you want to believe, but open your mind to let things in. Don't just believe what you're told to believe. Have a great day.